Next up on the Cosmic News Network, First Contact with Joshua Pert.
Good morning, Earthlings. Good. How you doing today? Good. How you doing today? Welcome to First Contact Radio. Welcome to First Contact Radio. To talk about all these things I'm talking about is because in life, everything is energy. Every single thing that's out there.
Yo, it's First Contact with Joshua Poet. He's the man on the mic, just in case you didn't know it. Covering news from all around the globe, from the weather and space to UFOs. He'll talk politics and make you open your eyes. Conspiracy theories and government lies. He'll dig it all up and try to find the proof. Cause it's time to demand the truth. It's time.
First Contact Radio. We have
time to demand the truth. It's time.
First Contact Radio. We have
time to demand the truth. It's time.
First Contact Radio.
It's time to demand the truth.
Radio. We have arrived. First Contact. Good morning, Earthlings. How you doing today? Welcome back to the show. We've made it through another weekend. St. Patrick's Day is here, and it got off to a real rocking start here in Los Angeles, California. A little earthquake to wake everybody up. Hope everybody is safe and sound out here. All right, let's see what we're dealing with today. 17. So we just had a full moon. Full moon was yesterday, and the full moon was a full moon in Virgo. The last phases of Virgo, and then yesterday afternoon we made a transition from Virgo to Libra, which is where we are for today. So we have a sun sign in Pisces. That's emotions. It's a water sign. We have a moon sign in Libra, which is an air sign. Words and actions. So we have emotions and we have words and actions. The emotions are in the outside the conscious mind. The words and the actions are in the unconscious mind. So think about how water and air work together in the world. Okay, you can have them work really nice together, or you can have them work chaotically together and create some big storm that goes all over the place. So we'll just see how we deal with that. Remember, water is emotions, air is words, and actions. So those are the two things that we're dealing with today. Now, later this afternoon, there's a square, which is a block between the moon sign of Libra and Jupiter here. Jupiter is the planet of expansion. So in Jupiterian energy, everything expands. The field of energy around it. So the field of energy around the words and actions, this Libra idea, karmic balance, everything expands. The lessons expand. So we need just to kind of pay attention to what this expansion is around us to see what lesson we're learning. Because oftentimes when dealing with karmic lessons, we're dealing with things that we have been through before. And here's an opportunity for us to rethink and redo the way that we did things before. And then a little bit after that, we have another aspect taking place between the same moon sign Libra and Venus, imagination. And this is a positive aspect. So after we go through a short phase where this field of energy is expanded, now there's this really positive aspect between love and imagination and Libra, this karmic balance, the words and the actions. So let that unfold as it will later this afternoon. We also see that we have a square going on this evening, and this is dealing with Pluto. Pluto is a planet of transformation, so usually when dealing with Plutonian energies, we're dealing with something of a transformative nature. And again, the words and the actions, the karmic balance. So lots of opportunities today to balance things out. Think about the words you speak, the actions you take, and just think about how those things help you and see if you can avoid the things that hurt you. That's the whole key for what goes on with these particular signs here. Now, we go over to look at here. It tells us that once the moon is up in the southeast late this evening, look below it to spot bright Mars and fainter Spica. By dawn on the 18th, they're off in the southwest. So we're looking for Mars and Spica just below the moon tonight. The moon phase, as we can see, is already making its way back down. It's a waning moon, which means we've hit the full moon, and we're going down back to the new moon again. Over in the Mayan Oracle, we're at an 8-tone day. It's called the galactic tone. So we see our position right here, the 8th position on the wave spell of the monkey, playfulness, magic. So today we are at the endless reflection of this magic that takes place in our lives. The guide for today is spirit, inspiration. So we have the galactic mirror guided by the wind. Like-minded energy is birth, the dragon. Our challenge today is shining bright, our light, and our hidden power is the night, abundance, our dreams, our subconscious. The phrase for today is I harmonize in order to reflect modeling order. I seal the matrix of endlessness with the galactic tone of integrity. I am guided by the power of spirit. When we go down, we could see our position here on the Zolkin. We are right in the middle column still. So the next 3 days to the middle of this week we will be there before we switch back up to that column. Remember, this is that magical place in the Zolkin where the first 6 and the last 6 revolve around the central pillar here. Space weather. Solar wind is 311.5 kilometers per second. Planetary K-index is quiet at the moment. We don't have any coronal holes facing our way at the moment either. And our planetary or our M-class flare possibilities drop down to 50, X-class to 10, and geomagnetic storm activity is pretty low as well, 20% minor in the higher latitudes. Now our numerology for today is a number 9. Here's how we arrived at that number. We've got the 3 for March. We've got the 17th. 1 plus 7 is an 8. We've got 2014, which is a 7. So 3 plus 8 plus 7 is 18. 1 plus 8 is 9, and that's how we arrived at our number, 9. So the numerology for today is 9. And again, the way you think of this, this is just the energetic field around us that we've created. We create by our agreements the energy fields around us. So we use a calendar system. We follow the particular numbers of the calendar system, and we look at those and we see what the day and the energy is that we've set up. And we look to understand the energy fields around there. Today we have the 9, which is the Hermit. This is representative of Virgo. It is all about holding the lantern high for others to see. 9 is the last single number before it changes over to become a double number. So as the single number, as the final completion, there's a lot built up into it. It's gone through a whole journey of learning. And so in this card you see the Hermit holding the lantern high. The lantern has a light shining in it, showing the light of illumination, the light of wisdom, and the Hermit is holding this lantern up for others to see the way, because the Hermit has become a teacher. Okay, that's what this time is about. That one, the 9 energy is about. A few more things here. 9s are helpful, compassionate, aristocratic, sophisticated, charitable, generous, humanitarian, romantic, cooperative, creative, self-sufficient, proud, and self-sacrificing. But they can end up being egocentric, arrogant, self-pitying, sentimental, discontent, fickle, cold, mentally unstable. And as I said, we're dealing with the sign of Virgo and Hermit. All right, so there you go. Now we just had an earthquake out here in Southern California. I want to show you a little discrepancy on how they mark things. This is the USGS website. They've marked this as a 4.4 centered in Westwood, California. Well, let's go take a look over at RSOE. RSOE shows this at a 4.7, followed by a 2.7 shortly after that. And if we go over to the iris detection here, and we click on North America, we could see the latest ones. What do we have here? I want to get a little bit closer. Hold on a second. Make sure we get in the right area. Alright, let's see down here. There we go, 4.7. You could see. So 4.7 here on the Iris browser. We got a 4.7 in RSOE, but USGS, who has been known to downgrade earthquakes, tells us it's only a 4.4. They do that quite a bit, and there are people who monitor and see that this happens really quite often. It happened when there was the big earthquake back out here in 94. It was the same kind of thing that they downgraded that, and there were reasons, because if they kept the earthquake at the same intensity, then it would affect people's paying their insurance over the course of the year, and so they certainly had to downgrade that to make sure that people didn't fall into that category. So you can check that up. You just don't take my word for it, but you can go certainly find out all about that and how they downgraded it, all insurance things in California. Anyway, that's what's going on. Get things started. UFO news is up next. I'll be right back.
This is the UFO News with Joshua Poet.
All right, Dirk. Thank you very much. First one takes us to Riverside, California, an Air Force base over there. This was last week on the 12th. I started from my backyard by seeing an orb plasma exactly above March Air Force Base, which I have video but not yet to be released. I then saw what looked like a star close by the base and began to move at least 1 mile west from its original point within 30 minutes. There was a movement when the star was not visible as it shifted so fast behind the tree and came up the other side. It would continuously move up and down from the Merino Valley towards Riverside. The star would sit for roughly 2 to 3 minutes, with a team of lights flashing downwards at times, and then would just move a little bit, repeating itself. As I moved around to keep my eye on it, I saw what appeared to be a disc shape with red lights blinking around it with no pattern, and it was stationary. Today, I witnessed the same thing, but this time another UFO having red lights flickering out of the order flying over the first disc-shaped UFO I just mentioned. I then went the next day to where I thought I had located but found nothing whatsoever. The photo appears to show it on a mountain, but the same day I searched for the remains, I recognized that not a single tower was located on any hill or mountain which has the characteristics of what I saw. I did not lose sight, but rather went to bed after already being close to 12 a.m. My belief is that the object is militarily involved. A lot of strange behavior has been taking place this past week and a half. Jet formations, cargo planes flying in circles, marine gun ships, AWAC radar jamming airplane. No question the military on past issues like drones being flown over Marine Valley residents. Okay, so there it is right there. And they're expecting, they're thinking that this is over the military base. Okay, that's our first one. Now we're going to move from here. This is from the ISS on the 14th. Remember, they had that big, massive sighting that took place. Well, here's another large object that they captured. Okay, this is what it looks like here. It's a 1 minute, 24-second video. This was on the 14th, which was Friday. It's the object right here. So whatever it is, they captured it as it went by. You can see everything moving underneath it. Pretty good shot right there. Okay. There you have it. That's from the ISS. Let's move on to the next story. This one is a UFO hunter rattled by police while filming a rainbow-colored craft in Australia. I think this film is genuine. I believe a bit about the police, but I don't think they are actually trying to prevent this person from viewing or even filming UFOs. Apparently, he was in the neighborhood setting at 4 a.m. That is enough to get the attention of the police. Just after filming a UFO, I had 3 cop cars swoop in on me and block my car in and interrogate me. Made me provide evidence that I am filming UFOs. They also said that they know that I go there every morning. Funny that since I have never driven past me on the hill. I was also advised to move along and they made a joke of me. Well, the joke is on you, Mr. Policeman. UFOs are real. Okay, so There's the sighting right there. And here we have a couple of officers who are just giving this guy a hard time. Alright. It's kind of silly how humans are when they don't understand something, especially the police force. Feel bad for the police force, how afraid they are of everything. So afraid. So afraid. Alright. Here's one up by the sun. Alright, we see these often. I know there are those who think that these are just gas bubbles or things of that nature coming off the sun after flares and so on, but I don't quite think so. There seems to be something more than that. We certainly see those, but we see definitely images up there. Definite images. Okay. That's not just a gas bubble, that's an object, and we see multiple of these. So, if you think they're just artifacts, okay, then you think that's what they are. But I just have the feeling there's something a bit more. And so does Scott C. Waring. Alright, let's check that out. Let's move on to the next one. This is a William Shatner, Captain Kirk. As a rule, I don't care too much for what celebrities have to say. Just because they make a great deal of money and are recognized by the public, it does not bestow them any special knowledge whatsoever. As a matter of fact, they probably have an unrealistic view of the world. But Shatner is different. Somehow he remains funny, laughs at himself, and seems fairly well-grounded. A few years ago, I used to think he was an intellectual lightweight, but over the years, I've come to regard him as a keen sense of the world. So here is what he thinks about intelligent life in the universe. When scientists speak about space and the world out there is always worth a listen. But they're scientists. They have a vested interest in being right. More interestingly, perhaps, are the people who seem to have an unalienable instinct for the truth of existence. William Shatner is surely one of these people, not merely for his portrayal of Captain James T. Kirk and the Prince and the Priceline Negotiator, but for his extraterrestrial nose for truth when he played Denny Crane in Boston Legal. Shatner has now offered his definitive view on alien life. In an interview with the Daily Mall, he offered this: I don't think there is any doubt that there is life in this universe. Yes, I don't think there is any question. But what can possibly deliver such certainty to the Shatner mind? Math, that's what. The mathematics involved. What have they just discovered? 370,000 new planets the other day. Mathematically, it has to be, he said. Yes, it's hard to imagine that all of these newly discovered worlds out there, at least one wouldn't have small green people or hieroglyphically nasty-looking 10-armed beings with a twisted sense of humor. But that's the problem with alien life. We keep thinking of it as something that's akin to our own. Yes, as Professor Michikaku told the Big Think earlier this week, when we look at aliens in the movie, we're basically projecting our own consciousness. Shatner seems to agree with the professor, speaking of what form of alien life might take. He said, just now it happens, we don't know yet, though I'm sure we'll know soon, but he's declared himself, and that's enough. There is alien life out there. It's out there. It may not be as we know it. Soon, though, we will know something that will at least make our own mundane existence worth interesting. And here's alien Michio Kaku talking about that. So if you're interested in listening to what he has to say, click the link. And I'm going to jump over here one last piece. This is Roger Leir has passed away. This is a little memorial. Dr. Roger K. Leir, UFO researcher, passed away on March 15th. Dr. Roger Leir passed away March 15th, 2014, according to his website at Alien Scalpel. He was one of the first researchers in the area of alien abductions and implant extractions. His work has inspired generations of normal men and women to stand up and begin researching alien information. He is gone and not forgotten. And here we have a little video of Dr. Leir. All right. This is just a little notice on his passing. So, our condolences to his family, and thanks to all of the great work Dr. Leir has done, and I'm sure that his research is going to live on, and we're going to continue to benefit from all the great and wonderful things that he did. So, thank you, Dr. Leir, and good journey on your next phase. All right, that's our UFO news. Let's jump away. I'll be back, and we shall continue on momentarily. Let's see. Let's go. This is confirm or deny. Check this out.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass. And I'm all out of bubblegum. Oh, shit.
Bases that are secretive. We're not supposed to know where they come from or where they go. And if you ask our leaders today, this is what they will say. I can neither confirm or deny. I can neither confirm or deny. I can neither confirm or deny. What's up with their lives?
All right. Let's continue on. Continuing on. Today is St. Patrick's Day. So let's explore St. Patrick's Day. Here we have St. Patrick, the Apostle of Ireland. St. Patrick is the patron saint and the national apostle of Ireland. St. Patrick is credited with bringing Christianity to Ireland. Most of what is known about him comes from his two works, the Confessio, which is a spiritual autobiography, and his Epistola, a denunciation of British mistreatment of Irish Christians. St. Patrick described himself as a most humble-minded man, pouring forth a continuous paean of thanks to his Maker for having chosen him as the instrument whereby multitudes who had worshipped idols and unclean things had become the people of God. Many folk asked for questions. Why is the shamrock the national flower of Ireland? The reason is that St. Patrick used it to explain the Holy Trinity to the pagans. St. Patrick is believed to have been born in the late 4th century and is often confused with Palladius, a bishop who was sent by the Pope Celestine in 431 to be the first bishop to the Irish believers in Christ. St. Patrick is known for driving the snakes from Ireland. It is true that there are no snakes in Ireland, but there probably never have been. The island was separated from the rest of the continent at the end of the Ice Age. As in many old pagan religions, serpent symbols were common and often worshipped. Driving the snakes from Ireland was probably symbolic of putting an end to the first pagan practice. While not the first to bring Christianity to Ireland, it is Patrick who is said to have encountered the Druids at Tara and abolished their pagan rites. The story holds that he converted the warrior chiefs and princesses, baptizing them and thousands of their subjects in the holy wells that still bear his name. There are several accounts of St. Patrick's death. One says that Patrick died at Saul Downpatrick, Ireland, on March 17, 460 A.D. His jawbone was preserved in a silver shrine and is often requested at times of childbirth, epileptic fits, and as a preventative against the evil eye. Another account says that St. Patrick ended his days at Glastonbury, England, and was buried there. The chapel of St. Patrick still exists as a part of Glastonbury Abbey. Today, many Catholic places of worship all around the world are named after St. Patrick, including cathedrals in New York and Dublin City. St. Patrick's Day has become to be associated with everything Irish, anything green and gold, shamrocks and luck. Most importantly, to those who celebrate its intended meaning, St. Patrick's Day is a traditional day for spiritual renewal and offering prayers for missionaries worldwide. All right, so that's pretty cool there. A little bit of info. I have something else here on St. Patrick's Day. Here is a little more history, origin, and customs. St. Patrick, the Holy Father and tutelar man, his beard down his bosom like Aaron's ran. Some from Scotland, some from Wales, will declare that he came, but I care not from whence now he's risen to fame. The pride of the world and his enemies scoring, I will drink to St. Patrick today in the morning. He's a desperate big little Aaron Bra. He will pardon our follies and promise us joy. By the Mass, by the Pope, by St. Patrick so long as I live, I will give him a beautiful song. The saint is so good, Ireland's country adoring, then hail to St. Patrick today in the morning. Here we have all kind of info on him. Let's see here. We have the biography, the historical version. Let's see, let's look at the biography. St. Patrick, Father Capellonis, held both the civic and the clerical offices when Patrick was born to him in the late 4th century. Although the family lived in the village of Banavim Tavenary in Roman Britain, Patrick would one day become the most successful Christian missionary in Ireland, its patron saint and the subject of legends. Patrick's first encounter with the land to which he would devote his life was an unpleasant one. He was kidnapped at age 16, sent to Ireland, and sold into slavery. While Patrick worked there as a shepherd, he developed a deep faith in God. One night during his sleep, he was sent a vision on how to escape. So much he tells us in his autobiographical confession. Unlike the work of the same name by the theologian Augustine, Patrick's confession is short, with few statements of religious doctrine. In it, Patrick describes his British youth and his conversion, for although he was born to Christian parents, he did not consider himself Christian before his captivity. Another purpose of the document was to defend himself to the very church that had sent him to Ireland to convert his former captors. Years before Patrick wrote his confession, he wrote an angry letter to Corruptus, the British king of Auckland, later called Strathclyde, in which he condemns him and his soldiers as compatriots of the demons because they had captured and slaughtered many of the Irish people Bishop Patrick had just baptized. Those they didn't kill would be sold to heathen Picts and Scots. Although personal, emotional, religious, and biographical, these two pieces of Gildas Bardiconis concerning the ruin of Britain provide the main historical sources for the 5th century of Britain. Upon Patrick's escape from his approximately 6 years of slavery, he went back to Britain and then to Gaul, where he studied under the Saint Germain, Bishop of Auxerre, for 12 years before returning again to Britain. There he felt a calling to return as a missionary to Ireland. He stayed in Ireland for another 30 years, converting, baptizing, and setting up missionaries. All right, a little bit about him, and let's see what else. Let's look and see what. How about if we go look at this one here? History of the St. Patrick's Day holiday. Every year on March 17th, the Irish at heart across the globe observe St. Patrick's Day. What began as a religious feast day for the patron saint of Ireland has become an international festival day for celebrating Irish culture with parades, dancing, foods, and a whole lot of green. All right, so we have a bunch of information here for you to check out. And let's see, one more. Let's see here. Let's look at some of the St. Patrick myths debunked. How about that? Says, today, revelers will drink green beer, eat corned beef in celebration of the man who, according to David Plotz, didn't rid the land of snakes, didn't compare the Trinity to the shamrock, and wasn't even Irish. In a 2000-piece reprinted below, Plotz stripped the myth away from St. Patrick, evaluating the many popular incarnations that have risen since his birth. Today we raise a glass of warm green beer to the fine fellow, the Irishman who didn't rid the land of snakes, didn't compare the Trinity to the Shamrock, and wasn't even Irish. St. Patrick, who died in 1507, 1539, or 1540 years ago today, depending on which unreliable source you want to believe, has been adorned with centuries of Irish blarney. Innumerable folk tales recount how he faced down kings, negotiated with God, tricked and slaughtered Irish reptiles. The facts about St. Patrick's are few, most derived from the two documents he probably wrote, the autobiographical confession and the indignant letter to a slave-taking marauder named Crocus. Patrick was born in Britain, probably in Wales, around 385 AD. His father was a Roman official. When Patrick was 16, seafaring raiders captured him and carried him to Ireland and sold him into slavery. The Christian Patrick spent 6 lonely years herding sheep and, according to him, praying 100 times a day. In a dream, God told him to escape. He returned home, where he had another vision in which the Irish people begged him to return and minister them. "We ask thee, boy, come and walk amongst us once more," he recalls in the confession. He studied for the priesthood in France and made his way back to Ireland. He spent his last 30 years there, baptizing pagans, ordaining priests, and founding churches and monasteries. His pervasive powers must have been astounding. Ireland fully converted to Christianity within 200 years and was the only country in Europe to Christianize peacefully. Patrick's Christian conversion ended slavery, human sacrifice, and most intertribal warfare in Ireland. He did not banish the snakes. Ireland never had any. Scholars now consider snakes a metaphor in the serpents of paganism. Nor did he invent the Shamrock Trinity. That was an 18th century fabrication. According to Thomas Cahill, author of How the Irish Saved Civilization, Paddy's influence extended far beyond his adopted land. Cahill's book, which just could be titled How St. Patrick Saved Civilization, contends that Patrick's conversion of Ireland allowed Western leaning to survive the Dark Ages. Ireland pacified and churchified as the rest of Europe crumbled. Patrick's monasteries copici and preserved classical text. Later, Irish monks returned this knowledge to Europe by establishing monasteries in England, Germany, France, Switzerland, and Italy. So, as we could see, the facts and the stories and the myths and the legends are wide and varied out there, but they're all very interesting to examine. So check it out. Plenty of links here. FirstContactRadio.com is the starting point, and there you go from there. All right, moving on. Let's go over to a story about Albert Einstein. Einstein is still full of surprises. You would think by now we would have exhausted the mysteries of Albert Einstein. As perhaps the most famous scientist in history, nearly every idea he has expressed and everything he did had been studied, commented on, written about. Yet in his 135th birthday, born March 14th, 1879, there are still new details coming out, details that offer insight both into the workings of Einstein's mind and the biggest mysteries of the cosmos. One big Einstein shocker was unearthed recently by Irish cosmologist Cormac O'Rafferty. While digging through the Einstein archives at Hebrew University in Jerusalem, there he found a completely overlooked manuscript, undated, but probably from 1931, that showed Einstein trying to create a model of the universe that satisfied both his scientific insights about his philosophical inclinations. The manuscript, entitled About the Cosmological Problem, envisioned a universe that expands, but that through a clever trick of physics never really changes. In 1917, Einstein made his first attempt at constructing a physical model of the universe. Actually, I should say that he made his first ever attempt at building a physical model of the universe. Nobody before had the mathematical or conceptual tools to venture there. Einstein had just published his general theory of relativity and wanted to see what would happen if he applied his new ideas about space and time to the cosmos as a whole. He soon realized that his equations naturally predicted either an expanding or a contracting universe, contrary to both the astronomical understanding of the time and to his preferred view of the order of nature. So Einstein added an extra factor, which he called lambda, that would counteract gravity and would allow the whole system to stay beautifully in balance. Then, in 1929, Edwin Hubble uncovered evidence that the universe is in fact expanding, and Einstein quickly abandoned lambda. This part of the story is well known. It turns out to be wrong. The unknown Einstein. O'Rafferty discovered that 14 years after his first cosmological paper, Einstein was still experimenting with lambda and still trying to figure out how the universe could retain some kind of perfect balance. Amir Askel gives some excellent background to the story in his recent blog post. Why Einstein thought that a universe should be in balance is significant. In keeping with his overall principle of relativity that nature looks the same to all observers, Einstein believed in the cosmological principle that the universe is homogeneous overall, so that it appears the same from any location in space. But he was also drawn to a deeper version, the perfect cosmological principle, which holds that the universe should also look the same from any location in time. Obviously, that cannot happen in an expanding universe, or can it? How Einstein tried to solve the problem is also really interesting. Imagine that as space expands, a new matter appears out of nowhere to fill the empty space. The two processes balance out, so the average density of the cosmos never changes. The well-known steady-state model of cosmology proposed in 1949 is very similar to Einstein's abandoned and never published theory. Not until the 1960s, when the evidence for the Big Bang and the finite age of the universe became truly pervasive, was the steady model discredited. Say, did you notice that I mentioned Einstein's idea of matter appearing out of nowhere? That seems to contradict the conversion of mass, doesn't it? Yes, but remember that our model understanding of dark energy is equally paradoxical. As space expands, it creates more energy, which causes the expansion of the universe to accelerate. Energy from nothing. Since mass and energy are equivalent, the current accepted reality is no stranger than Einstein's model. The answer may lie in deeper understanding of the energy fields that permeate seemingly empty space, or from a different perspective in the relationship between the actual and potential energy of the cosmos. All right, there's more to the article. You can check it out. There's a link there, but very interesting on what we're finding out and what we will continue to find out as the days continue on. Now, here's a picture of something that is being discovered up on Mars. Check this out. This is the surface of Mars, right there. Okay, looks like it definitely has some sort of something growing here. Those trees, perhaps. Widen the picture. Mars, northernmost sand dunes are beginning to emerge from the winter cover of seasonal carbon dioxide, which is dry ice. Dark, bare, south-facing slopes are soaking up the warmth of the sun. The steep lee sides of the dunes are also ice-free along the crest, allowing sand to slide down the dune. Dark splotches are places where ice cracked earlier in the spring, releasing the sand. Soon the dunes will be completely bare and the signs of spring activity will be gone. The image was acquired by the HiRISE camera aboard NASA's Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter on January 16th. The University of Arizona Tucson operates the HiRISE camera, which was built by Ball Aerospace and Technologies out of Boulder, Colorado. NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory Division of the California Institute of Technology manages the Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter project. All right, so there you go. That's up on Mars. Very fascinating. Looks like trees or something here, doesn't it? Looks like that's sand or snow. It looks like, definitely looks like trees. So that's what's up on the surface of Mars. At least we are told or shown that's what it is. Now here's something scientists are studying. Gravitational waves. Have U.S. scientists heard echoes of the Big Bang? There is an intense speculation among cosmologists that a U.S. team is on the verge of confirming they have detected primordial gravitational waves, an echo of the Big Bang, which the universe came into existence 14 billion years ago. Rumors have been rife in the physics community about an announcement due on Monday from the Harvard Smithsonian Center for Astrophysics. If there is evidence for gravitational waves, it would be a landmark discovery that would change the face of cosmology and particle physics. Gravitational waves are the latest untested prediction of Albert Einstein's general theory of relativity. They are minuscule ripples in the fabric of the universe that carry energy across space, somewhat similar to waves crossing an ocean. Convincing evidence of the discovery would almost certainly lead to a Nobel Prize. If they do announce primordial gravitational waves on Monday, I would take a huge amount of convincing. This is Hirana Pines, or Pyrrhus, a cosmologist from University of College London. But if they do have a robust detection, Jesus, wow, I'll be taking next week off. The discovery of gravitational waves from the Big Bang would offer scientists their first glimpse of how the universe was born. The signal is rumored to have been found by the specialized telescope called BICEP, means background imaging of cosmic extragalactic polarization, BICEP. This was at the South Pole, and it scans the sky at microwave frequencies where it picks up fossil energy from the Big Bang. For decades, cosmologists have thought that the signature of primordial gravitational waves would be imprinted on this radiation. It's called the Holy Grail of cosmology, says Pyrrhus. It would be a real major discovery. Martin Hendry at the University of Glasgow works for several projects designed to directly detect gravitational waves. If BICEP has made a detection, he says, it's clear that this new window of the universe is really opening up. According to theory, the primordial gravitational waves will tell us about the first infinitesimal moment of the universe's history. Cosmologists believe that 10 to 34 seconds after the Big Bang, a decimal point followed by 33 zeros, the universe was driven to expand hugely. Known as inflation, the theory was dreamed up to explain why the universe is so remarkably uniform from place to place, but it has always lacked some credibility because no one can find a convincing physical explanation for why it happened. Now, researchers may be forced to redouble their efforts. The primordial gravitational waves have long been thought as the smoking gun of inflation, as is close to the proof that the theory as you are going to get, says Pyrrhus. This is because cosmologists believe only inflation can amplify the primordial gravitational waves in a detectable signal. All right, there's more to the article. But again, interesting discoveries that science is making about what is going on out there. They're always trying to figure out, science is trying to figure out what esoteric philosophy and has known for some time. But sometime they'll get together, They'll say, oh, these people knew what was going on. They didn't need all this scientific proof. How could that be? How could that be? All right, let's move on. Let's talk about our consciousness. This is 10 scientific studies that prove consciousness can alter our physical material world. Nikola Tesla said it best. The day science begins to study the non-physical phenomenon, it will make more progress in our decade than all the previous centuries of its existence. To understand the true nature of the universe, one must think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. Swami Vivekananda. He was Tesla's mentor, an Indian Hindu monk and a chief disciple of the 19th century saint Ramakrishna. Science works best when in harmony with nature. If we put these two things together, we can discover great technologies that can only come about when consciousness of the planet is ready to embrace them, like free energy. I want to make it clear that my intention of presenting this information is to demonstrate the thoughts, intentions, prayer, and the other units of consciousness can directly influence our physical material world. Prayer, good intention, and more can have a powerful influence on what you are directing your feelings towards. Fukushima, for example. If a mass amount of people send their thoughts and good intentions to our waters, we can help mitigate the situation. These concepts can be used on a mass scale as one human race with the intent in their hearts for multiple problems, as well as individual situations in their own lives. When our consciousness starts to merge into one as a collective, we all see through the same eyes. We will begin to transform the world around us. I believe we are currently in this process. For quite some time now, physicists have been exploring the relationship between human consciousness and its relationship to the structure of matter. Previously, it was believed that a Newtonian material universe was the foundation of our physical material reality. This all changed when scientists began to recognize that everything in the universe is made out of energy. Quantum physicists discovered that physical atoms are made up of vortices of energy that are constantly springing and vibrating. Matter at its tiniest observable level is energy, and human consciousness is connected to it. Human consciousness can influence its behavior and even restructure it. Everything we call real is made of things that cannot be regarded as real. Niels Bohr. All right, and here we have this information about the quantum double slit experiment. Where energy is set through here. It's a great example of how consciousness and our material world are intertwined. One potential revelation is this experience is that the observer creates the reality. A paper published in the peer-reviewed journal Physics Essay explains how the experiment has been used multiple times to explore the role of consciousness in shaping the nature of one physical reality. Okay, and we go down here to government-sponsored psychokinesis programs. They certainly have been studying for a long while because they understand. We have the global consciousness experiment, random number generators, remote viewing experiments by the NSA and the CIA. Here we have thoughts and intentions alter the physical structure of water, the placebo effect, teleportation, science at the heart. Okay, so there's a lot of different ideas here. But, and this article here comes to us from right up here, Arjun Walia from Collective Evolution. So, look, we talk about energy all the time. We talk about how consciousness is affected and how we can make a difference in the world. So, we wonder as we go through life, we experience lots of things. We experience a lot of people in life who, not a lot, but there are the powers that be, those who have spent too much time watching James Bond and feel that they need to be the bad guys, or too many time watching Underdog, and feel like they're Simon Bar Sinisters out there, right? So they got these bad guys with these ideas trying to do things. But the world is still here because there's good people out there, and good people are using good thoughts and putting in the world. And I believe that through all these years, the good people putting out the good thoughts in the world have counteracted all the bad things. And it happens every day. That's why if we could all focus on what we're doing each and every day and focus the good, we can change the world. So think about this. If indeed our thoughts are things, which we know they are, and our thoughts go out there and they affect the energy fields around us, which we know that they do, then what is important is how our thoughts are generated. Are we thinking of our own thoughts, or is somebody else putting thoughts in our head? If we go through the course of the day and we examine around us in the world, we see that we have television, we have billboards, we have radio that is putting out images into the world, ideas. Television particularly. We turn on the television every day. It enters the home. People see it. It's putting images. And when a person listens to the stories over and over and over, especially the news stories, all they're doing is they're setting up fear. They're setting up a web of fear that is going into your mind. So the time when you should be thinking of positive thoughts, how to change the world in a positive way, there's all these fear-based thoughts that are there that get in the way. This is all intentional. Okay, we've gotten ourselves in this web that we think that we need to constantly talk about and bring up all these negative things. We don't. We need to let the negative go. We need to just keep moving forward and accentuate the positive. That's the important thing of all of this for all of us. And if we keep doing that, we will change the world. Because, as I said, the world has not been overrun because we've always had enough people with good intentions putting out enough good vibes to change things. Imagine if we all went and put out the good intentions. Imagine we might just completely go past that tipping point and just change the world into the goodness we want. Imagine that. And that's what we'll get. All right, here's a message for today. This is from Hilarion. This is for the week we're in. Here we go.
Hilarion. March 16 to 23, 2014.
Beloved ones, the times you are living in now contains all the elements that could possibly be found in a world of duality. For those of you who have been focused on rising above the fray and fall out of the dying paradigm, it may seem that the world has gone mad and only chaos rules the day. Please keep in mind that these are the end times spoken of before, and that those who have been wielding power over the masses are desperately trying to continue to instill fear within the hearts of humanity so that they can be controlled. The good news is that the majority of the world's people are not buying into those old programs of belief. They are simply going on with their lives and working toward their own goals and not giving any credence to the happenings that are seemingly about to overwhelm the world. They are seeing that it is only the world as seen through the lens of the entertainment news industry. The people themselves are hungry for change and wish to thrive in their experience of incarnation in a human body. They want to reconnect to the natural elements in the foods they eat, the environment they live in, and the other inhabitants who share this world with them. Because of the easy access to the technology and information that is readily available, each person can simply go online and do searches to discover the information that helps them move forward in their understanding of a given subject. It takes but a few moments to see that what is being touted on the entertainment news channels is nothing new or different. It is simply another version of the formula of create a problem, create the reaction, and then provide the solution that they wanted to implement in the first place. When people understand what is at play, they simply move on and do not give their energy and attention to it, and this is what is happening now. The majority of the people in the world are peaceful and simply want to live a peaceful life. In many parts of the world, people are standing together to make their statements to those who are supposed to be serving them, and it is in these situations that the powers that be bring in their own elements to make it seem that the protesters are out of control and must be subjugated in order for order to be restored. This scenario plays out in most public gatherings of people throughout the planet who are peacefully standing for change, and it is part of the repertoire of those who are in power. It requires a dedication from those who stand for change, to desire to stand in peace while making a statement, and it has become important for these people to not be in reaction to those elements who try to make the whole gathering look violent. It requires awareness and discernment on the part of the peaceful protesters. It requires huge self-control of every member of the peaceful gathering. As the energies from the cosmos continue to flood the planet, humanity as a whole is being awakened into remembrance of their right to live their lives in peace and sovereignty. By integrating the greater light in the higher frequencies that surrounds them, they are open to new perspectives that were not seen nor recognized before. The light is the revolutionary catalyst that is bringing the changes that all have desired to see in their world. It is not easy for humanity when the changes within them first begin to take place, and this is now happening with regular occurrence. The light brings an ending to the comfortable illusions that were woven into everyday living here on this planet. The light requires a readjustment in one's perceptions. The light begins to open up avenues of conduct that brings greater light to all. This is the task before humanity now. To awaken and realize that they, individually and collectively, carry more power than they realized they held within them, and then to begin to make conscious choices to move into a more refined way of living that honors all inhabitants on this world as the sovereign beings that they truly are. To honor the light that is an inherent spark within, that is their connection with the divine. To create a world where there is true equality for all its inhabitants, and where their home planet is recognized as a conscious sentient divine being who is part of a greater network of worlds beyond, and to work diligently to restore her to her former glory in every thought, word, and action, so that their world can rejoin the rest of the universe as an honored member of a vast system of worlds who work together in peace and harmony. Until next week, I am Leir.
Alright, nice message as always. Very nice message. Alright, so let's move on to our meditation for today. Go ahead and close your eyes. Take a deep breath. And exhale. Take another deep breath. And exhale again. Alright, I want you to think about this affirmation for today. Let the words just move through your mind. I am perfect, whole, and complete, exactly as I am. And I have choices today. I am perfect, whole, and complete, exactly as I am, and I have choices today. So just allow yourself to understand those words of your wholeness, of your completeness, of your perfection. Imagine yourself moving through life, feeling whole, complete, and perfect. Imagine what that feels like. And know that that feeling of perfection exists within you and within all beings upon this planet. Imagine all of your chakras are activated. Top of the spine, imagine the white light. Top of your head, the light coming down into your crown chakra. Imagine the violet color of that chakra, and then see the light moving down to the third eye. Imagine the color indigo. And the light continues to move down from the third eye down to the throat. And there imagine the color blue at the throat chakra. And from there, see the light move down further yet into the heart area and see the color green for the green heart chakra. And the light continues to move down just below the rib cage in the solar plexus area there. See the color yellow. And from there, the light continues to move down to the belly button, and there you see the color orange. And finally, the moves down to the bottom of the spine, the root chakra, and there you see the color red. And then the color and the light and energy moves down into the cosmos, into the planet. And there you are connected to the cosmos and to the planet, to the earth, to the sky. And just imagine yourself filled with all of this energy of all of these chakras. Feel the energy flowing through you and then expand it outward from your body to an area 1 foot around you. And expand it outward 2 feet, 3 feet, 5 feet, until the energy fills the room that you're in. And then the energy expands outward from the room you're in, further yet, into your neighborhood, into the whole city, to the state, to the country, and across the world all around. And just imagine this love, this protection, these positive vibes going out. Let's imagine all of the bad things that are taking place in the world today, and let's just imagine sending down love and light as this positive rain that goes and washes away all the darkness from the world today. And let's imagine all the doubt and the fears being washed away and going down the drain. And any of those who are clinging to the doubts and the fears, you find that they are easily able to let go. And as we experience those who are holding so hard to the fears and expressing the fears into the world, let's imagine that they see the error of their ways and they stop terrorizing the world. And finally, for those who cannot overcome their own sense of terrorism, those who continue to want to hurt people, let's imagine them clinging so hard to this. Let's imagine them just being washed away into nothingness, where we no longer have to experience them and their bad vibes anymore. And let's just think of the earth as a place of love, filled with beings of love who want to make a positive difference to this planet. And let us believe this is a reality, that this is a possibility. And we can bring this all into existence just by believing. So let our subconscious mind continue on that journey of believing today, and let's bring our conscious mind back to the present moment on the count of 3. 3, coming back to the present moment filled with confidence. 2, coming back to the present moment filled with faith. And 1, coming back to the present moment happy, healthy, and whole. Happy, healthy, and whole. Take another deep breath. Exhale, and open your eyes. That's it, my friends. That's our show for today. Thank you very much for being here. Have an awesome day. Happy St. Patrick's Day to all of you. I'll be back tomorrow with more news and information. Till then, be safe, have fun, and just keep loving each other. Peace. I'm out of here.